First tonight on our news live at 7:30, Emancipation Day celebrations underway. The Governor General telling citizens that the country must rid itself of hate and disrespect at an Emancipation Day service in the Fox Hill community. Also, what is the meaning behind the historic holiday? Our Marlena Leonard fills us in. Plus, the Bahamas National Reparations Committee relaunching the discussion of reparations. Hear why the High Commissioner sees the committee as a bridge between CARICOM and Bahamas straight ahead. And later, a 40-year-old man found submerged in waters at a local beach. We have the details when our news live at 7:30 continues. Welcome to our news. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy Emancipation Day. I'm Natalia Hall. All eyes on Team Bahamas at the 2024 Olympics in Paris. Defending Olympic champion in the men's 400-meter Stevie Gardner pulled out of his race at the last minute. His management team citing an injury in a statement yesterday evening. As for Shawnee Miller-Weibo, the defending champ in the women's 400 meters, participated in the heats this morning but pulled up at the 200-meter mark and walked the remainder. She has since been entered in the 400 rapid charge round set for tomorrow. Wanya McCoy and Ian Kerr also participated in the heats of the men's 200 meters. We'll have more in our sports presented by 10th-year seniors in a moment. But first, residents supporting the 2024 Emancipation Day service in the Fox Hill community. The country's Governor General sharing a stern message. This as the Bahamas National Reparations Committee is relaunching the discussion of reparations for Native genocide and chattel slavery. And do you know the meaning behind the Emancipation Day holiday? Our Marlena Leonard tests your knowledge in about 5 minutes. But in commemoration of August 1st, 1834, the historic day when the British Empire abolished the slavery of people of African descent, now known as Emancipation Day, residents of Fox Hill gathered at the Fox Hill Parade grounds for a time of celebration and reflection. Fox Hillians were joined by Governor General, Her Excellency Dame Cynthia Pratt. During her remarks, she reflected on the past struggles and journeys of the Bahamas while challenging residents to free themselves of mental slavery.
It was not always like this. There was a price to be paid for the freedom we enjoy today. Ladies and gentlemen, although our chains are no longer there, we are unshackled, but are we mentally free? We must free ourselves from mental slavery. We must free ourselves of the hate, disrespect, and distrust which overcome us sometimes. We must walk boldly to embrace opportunities which exist.
Also in attendance was the area member of Parliament, Fred Mitchell. Speaking to the issue of crime in the country, he says no one has the right to take a life.
The women have earrings, the men have earrings. The women have plaits, the men have plaits. It's a free country. You know, when I was a child, you wouldn't dare put your head in plaits, but today, that's the way it is. Some of these people tried to say if you had tattoos on your body, you couldn't get work. That's gone out the window too. But what I know is, while we're a free country, you're not free to kill one another. I was thinking to myself, these kids, 21 years old, who have 50 more years to live, what they killing one another for? What for?
Well, in the spirit of emancipation, the Bahamas National Reparations Committee is relaunching the discussions of reparations for Native genocide and chattel slavery for citizens of this region. The term reparations is defined as making amends for a wrong done by providing payment or other assistance to those who have been wronged by payment or other assistance. The issue, introduced back in 2013 at the 34th CARICOM Heads of Government held in Trinidad and Tobago. The committee and the Regional CARICOM Reparations Committee was established soon after. High Commissioner for Reparatory Justice, His Excellency Philip Smith, sees the committee as a bridge between CARICOM and the Bahamas.
The Bahamas has been graced with some of its finest minds being involved in the work of the committee, which continues to date. And when you look at the makeup of the new official committee, you'll recognize that it has attracted to itself a good cross-section of the talents necessary to engage the Bahamian public in a discussion on the appropriateness of our campaign for justice, truth.
The reparations are targeted at our former colonizers, in this case, the United Kingdom. Critics argue that we get help from these countries in many forms, including during times of disaster. But the committee's chair, Dr. Naomi Campbell Hall-Dean, says these actions do not cancel out what's already happened.
Reparations is not charity. Charity would be what you give after a natural disaster. We are appreciative of those charitable acts, but reparations is really about justice. And so it is the justice that is due for the crimes against the United Nations designated crimes against humanity of the crime of slavery and the genocide of the native peoples of this land.
Well, the historic Emancipation Day holiday is celebrated on the first August Monday every year. But how many of us knows what the holiday is for? Our Marlena Leonard explains in this quick walkthrough story.
The first Monday of every August is a public holiday in the Bahamas. But while most of us are planning our holiday beach day or travel, there is still some unaware of what the holiday is for. Emancipation Day, also known as August Monday, is marked to celebrate the day enslaved people in the British colonies were freed in 1834, when the Slavery Abolition Act of 1833 came into effect, ending centuries of Britain's involvement in the transatlantic slave trade. Anti-slavery movements had been growing among the British public, and there had been calls for slavery's abolition for almost 50 years before the Abolition Act was signed in 1833. This year's Emancipation Day marks 190 years of freedom. So enjoy the celebratory junkanoo or beaching, even more so when you're mindful for the reason of the holiday. Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
All right, thanks so much for that, Marlena. And now to some sad news. This is as a 40-year-old man is dead after what appears to be a drowning on a popular beach Sunday. Police were called to Jaws Beach around 8 last night after the man's body was discovered unresponsive and submerged in water. Beachgoers performed CPR while waiting for EMS to arrive. He was taken to hospital but was later pronounced dead. Now police are still looking into the circumstances of the death. Still to come on Our News, the Free National Movement leader claims government is still neglecting the island of Grand Bahama. We have his full comment straight ahead. And later, a look at how Bahamians spend their Emancipation Day holiday when Our News returns. Stay with us.
Happiest, most peaceful, most congenial of all countries in the Western Hemisphere today was how the Prime Minister, Mr. Lyndon Pinding, described it in an Eve of Independence news conference. The preacher spoke of the Bahamians as a holy nation and a peculiar people, dependent now only on God.
Very little progress for Grand Bahama's economy and burdensome policies for businesses. Just some of the criticisms levied by the opposition leader in an interview with Our News recently. Our Joshua Williams reports.
Opposition leader and Marco City MP Michael Pintar doubling down on his criticism of the Davis administration, claiming their policies on businesses are too burdensome. He's especially critical of their handling of Grand Bahama's economy, which he claims is still neglected despite all the time they've had in office to try and tackle the issues.
We want all Bahamians to eat. We want all Bahamians to succeed. And we believe that our role as a government is to facilitate development. And facilitating development means that we should remove impediments from in front of businesses so that they can thrive. We should improve the ease of doing business for Bahamians and investors from overseas.
The laundry list of criticisms against government include the handling of BPL, tourism numbers, and financial reports, as well as allegations of mishandling public funds.
This whole approach that this government has, that it believes that they are the ones, that money should be in their hand, to manage all that's going on in the country, which even if that includes taxing Bahamians to get that money, going into the pockets and coffers of businesses to get that money. That is an approach that we believe is a bad approach.
Having recently defended and won leadership of the F&M, Pintard says he's now focused on the next general election, campaigning on a platform of a stronger economy.
I believe that the Davis administration days are numbered, and that we will come in with a different spirit and attitude.
The Marco City MP also sharing this message for Grand Bahamians skeptical of a bounce back.
I believe that we ought to keep the faith, and we ought to continue to put pressure on the Grand Bahama Port Authority to do their job, central government to do their job. I believe that better days are ahead, and I'm optimistic about the future of this country. I'm optimistic about the future of Grand Bahama.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Coming up in sports, Antoine Andrews is the first member of Team Bahamas through to a semifinal, and more disappointment comes in the 400 meters.
Thanks, Ronaldo. And how are you spending your Emancipation Day holiday? Our Joshua Williams speaks with residents when Our News returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
This update from the Paris Olympics is powered by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. Antoine Andrews was the first member of Team Bahamas to advance out of the prelims this year in Paris. Contesting the 110 hurdles, the Texas Tech sophomore finished second in Heat 3 in 13.43 seconds to become an automatic qualifier for the semifinals. He finished second behind China's Zhu Jiayi in 13.40 seconds. American Daniel Roberts was third, Milan Trakovic of Cyprus was fourth, and reigning Olympic champion Hansel Parchment of Jamaica was fifth. All ran a time of 13.43 seconds, and the positions in the final standings were parsed down to the thousandth of a second. Andrews will race in the semifinals on Wednesday, August 7th.
The 400 meter was seen as one of our strongest events headed into Paris, but both reigning Olympic champions were forced into early exits due to injuries. Running in Heat 4 today, Shawnee Miller-Weibo pulled up with 200 meters left to go and did not finish. This came roughly 24 hours after Stephen Gardner's abrupt exit just before the prelims of his race. Gardner's on-track management released a statement citing discomfort in his ankle and surrounding tendon.
There were several milestones for the local darts community at the Caribbean Darts Cup in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Team Bahamas were the second place finishers for the overall title with 94 points, 6 points behind Cup champions Team Florida. Elizabeth Cartwright was the overall champion in the girls' knockout event. The Bahamas won the team's event championship, while the team of Robin Albury and Shane Sawyer won the men's doubles title. Rashad Sweeting was named the overall MVP. That'll do it for Our Sports. This is 10YS. Today makes 10 years of 10YS. How we celebrating?
I going home.
Well, that's our staff party. Back to the studio.
Coming up, how are you spending your Emancipation Day holiday? Our Joshua Williams has stories straight ahead, and Greg is back with your extended weather forecast when Our News returns. Stay with us.
When the Bahamas took center stage at World Expo in Dubai 2022, we were there as thousands got up close and personal with our story, like the unprecedented devastation of Hurricane Dorian put center stage at Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Rwanda. We were there as the Prime Minister urged immediate action on climate change, an issue brought up months later at the historic 50th CARICOM meeting in the Bahamas. Because our news is everywhere, always there when it counts.
And a happy Emancipation Day, everybody. Beautiful conditions on the outside. We still have a couple of showers, mainly across the extreme northwest Bahamas, Grand Bahama, the Bimini area, seeing some trailing moisture from what was briefly Hurricane Debbie overnight that did strengthen to hurricane, 75-mile-per-hour winds, back down to tropical storm status right now. Just moving near the Florida-Georgia border. It's going to continue on a northeasterly track, and that should continue for the next couple of days before it turns more towards the east and moves off the southeastern United States near the South Carolina area. the steering currents for this system not very strong. So this system is going to meander across this area for at least a couple of days. Looks like even a week before an upper level system pulls and grabs the system and takes it out towards northeast. In the meantime, though, very large amounts of rainfall and some severe weather affecting the southeastern United States and the Florida area. And even the Bahamas, seeing some rain bands associated with the system continuing to affect our area, and that will continue to be the trend over the next couple of days. The system is really one for the record books because it's just going to hang around for quite a few days. We have a first rain band moving through our area as we speak, and then we have a second one that we expect to get here sometime by tomorrow. So it looks as though we're going to see some showers in the forecast for the northwest Bahamas over the next couple of days with the system, but it's going to continue to pull out towards the north and east and away from us. But we are still watching the tropics. Tropics getting a little active. We have a tropical wave moving across the Windward Islands, not showing any organization at this time, but that high pressure system to the north that's going to build across the Bahamas and keep Debbie away from us. That's going to continue to steer this system towards the west, and we are going to continue to watch that one closely, but shouldn't pose any problems for us. And then, of course, we have a very strong tropical wave coming off the African coast. So this is the meat of the season. So we're looking for more activity in the Atlantic, and we're asking you to prepare yourself for the upcoming peak of the season. Future forecast showing showers and thunderstorms associated with some of those rain bands moving across our area. First one clears out, and then we have the second one coming Tuesday, and that should be moving through us by Tuesday night into Wednesday. So more showers and thunderstorms expected in the forecast during that time frame. Boating forecast, small craft advisory for the northwest Bahamas. Your winds will be out of the southeast to south, 15 to 20 knots. They will be gusting high at times. Seas running 3 to 5 feet, but they will be building up to 8 feet, mainly in the north portions of Grand Bahama and northern Bahamas and along the Atlantic exposures. High tide is at 9:31 tonight. Low tide takes place at 3:56 in the morning. For the central and southeastern islands, caution fly for you guys down there. East to southeasterly wind flow, 15 to 20 knots. Seas running 4 to 6 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, with the plume hanging across us, that moisture plume from Debbie, we will keep showers in the forecast for most of the week. That will continue through Friday. We get a little bit of a break on Saturday, and then we have some more moisture coming on Sunday. Temperatures will be back into the 90s, and heat indices will be in the triple digits once again. So we're asking you to stay hydrated during the upcoming days. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe, happy Emancipation Day, everybody.
Thanks so much, Greg. Well, the Bahamas Striping Group of companies and local Rotary clubs are back at it with their annual back-to-school bag packing initiative this month. For 5 years, members of the Rotary clubs of Nassau Sunrise, South Ocean, and Old Fort have gathered at the company's headquarters to pack backpacks for students nationwide. The goal is to ease the financial burdens and boost school spirit. Rotary Club of South Ocean President Dava Bullard says the effort will support about 7,500 students and aligns with Rotary's focus on education, especially with Basic Literacy Month coming up.
September is Basic Education and Literacy Month, so we are always focused on the students, and so that impact we know will continue to be great years to come and this year.
Bahamas Striping begins distribution of the bags this Tuesday, with Rotary distributions expected to follow shortly after. Bahamas Striping Vice President of Operations Frederica Stirrup says the company is committed to supporting the nation's youth in their education.
We will continue to do this as long as we're able to, because we see the ever-present need to be able to give back to our community. Not only does this equip our kids to be able to go back to school, these also lessen the burden on our parents who need this type of relief, and we're glad to be able to do it.
You are encouraged to visit Bahamas Striping Group of Companies or your area's Rotary Club on social media for more information on their back-to-school initiatives. Well, while some of us reported to work today, including myself, for thousands of Bahamians, today was a welcome day off in celebration of the event nearly 200 years ago, which made us free. How exactly did you spend your holiday? Our Joshua Williams tries to guess what you may have done on this day. Let's take a look.
Emancipation Day, the day we recognize and celebrate the abolition of slavery in the Bahamas. 190 years we still celebrate. But how? The majority of Bahamians trek to the beach, as it is the last holiday of the summer and normally a great day for outdoors. And the activities range from swimming to water sports like a banana boat or jet ski riding. Or maybe you love the water but don't necessarily want to get wet. There's also the option of a boat tour. For Bahamians, food is never far from our celebrations, no matter the holiday. There are a variety of holiday foods events we gather around, and in the spirit of emancipation, perhaps something native, a local fish fry or a favorite local restaurant, or one of many spots recommended by our entertainment reporter. If you're a fan of regattas, then you probably just wrapped up activities in Ruleville, Exuma. It's a staple of the August Monday holiday weekend. For our outdoor lovers, the national parks provide a great way to get up close with the natural environment with walking trails, ponds, and lagoons. Or perhaps it was simply a leisurely drive along the coast of the island you call home. Whatever it is that you did, the aim should have been an emancipation holiday that's left you refreshed and rejuvenated. Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks for that great report, Joshua. And with that, we thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.